When you transfer money through UPI today, do you have to pay a charge? No. Whether you're sending rupees 500 to a friend, paying at a shop, or buying something online, UPI transactions continue to be free for consumers. So, why are we suddenly hearing about UPI charges? The reason is a recent change in the law. The Lok Sabha has passed the Taxation and Other Laws Bill 2026, which amends provisions connected to the zero FDR framework for digital payments. Now, this is important. The bill does not mean that UPI charges have started. It does not say that as of today, you have to pay a fee every time you scan a QR code. What it does is remove the legal restrictions that effectively prevented the government from introducing such charges in the future. In simple terms, UPI remains free today, but the door has now been opened for charges to be introduced later. So, when will you actually have to pay? There is no fixed date yet. And another important point that the discussion is primarily about merchant discount rate or MDR. MDR is a fee paid by merchant when a digital payment is processed. It is not the same as directly charging the person making the payment. For example, if you buy something for rupees 1000, a future MDR could mean that a small percentage of that transaction goes toward the payment ecosystem. But there is currently no universal MDR on UPI, and there is no announcement that ordinary consumers will certainly be charged for every UPI transaction. There have also been reports and proposals suggesting that if MDR is introduced, it could be targeted at large merchants and higher value transactions, while small merchants and person to person transfer remain protected. But these are proposals and possibilities, not a fee structure that has been implemented. So why did the government make this change? The government argues that running UPI at this enormous scale has costs, including payment infrastructure, cybersecurity, fraud prevention, and technological upgrades. At present, the ecosystem is supported in part through government incentives and other arrangements, which ultimately means people's taxes. The government says a sustainable model may eventually be needed as digital payments continue to grow. But there is another major part of this debate. Donald Trump and the United States. The US State Representative has raised concerns about India's zero FDR policy, arguing that completely free UPI and RuPay payments can create an uneven playing field for international payment networks such as Visa and MasterCard, which operate under fee based models. This became particularly relevant amid India's trade negotiations with the United States under the Donald Trump administration. The Trump connection comes from the US trade position on India's payment system and the timing of the policy change. But the opposition argues that India should not dilute a system that has made digital payment accessible and inexpensive for millions of people just to satisfy foreign interests. They also warn that even if merchants are charged rather than consumers, businesses would eventually pass that cost on to customers through higher prices. The government, however, maintains that the objective is not to make UPI expensive for ordinary people, but to create a sustainable payment ecosystem.